I'm back.
SuperFlyRyno.
You damn right. What up, game players? It's your boy SuperFlyRyno, and I'm back again. I know it's been a minute since my last video, but with work, family life, everything, I haven't had a whole lot of time lately, but I do have some time right now, so I'm about to hit you with a new one. So there's a few things that have been going on this week that I'd like to talk about that I feel like I missed out on. So the first thing being the Bethesda and Starfield rumor about how it's supposed to be an Xbox exclusive. Duh? Like, guys, Microsoft bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion. Do you really think any of their games are going to come to the PlayStation now? I mean, why would they? Microsoft's doing this to enhance Game Pass, to keep games from their first party coming to Game Pass, to keep subscribers. Let's be real. PlayStation, if they bought Bethesda, they wouldn't be releasing any of their games on the Xbox. That's just the way the industry works. You don't spend $7.5 billion on a company to spread the wealth. Now, I know some gamers are like, oh, well, they'll probably put it on PlayStation to recuperate some of the cost. They don't have to. Microsoft's a $1 trillion company. I mean, they just made, I forget how many billions on the defense project alone. They make money. If you have a PC, odds are you're using Windows. They made money. Microsoft is rich, so they don't have to recuperate any cost. On top of that, this happens all the time in the industry. Look, for example, Insomniac Games. So PlayStation bought Insomniac. Insomniac also made an Xbox One exclusive, Sunset Overdrive. Now, Sunset Overdrive, Insomniac still owns the IP. So, there may be an Insomniac and Sunset Overdrive coming to PS5. Will it be a remake, a sequel, a side story? Who knows? But the possibility of that coming to PS5 is very high, and it's not going to come to the Xbox. That's because Sony does not release their exclusives on any other platform but PlayStation. Until recently, they have released a few games on PC, which is very rare, but I think that might happen more often. I mean, Days Gone was a #1 seller when it came to PC. So why wouldn't Sony want to make that money? I mean, the difference to PC and console gamers, I don't understand why there's always a conflict there, like PC master race or, console peasants. I personally have a gaming PC. I prefer gaming on a console. I like sitting in front of my big screen TV in my chair, relaxing. I could do that in front of my PC as well, but I just like the console experience more. And I also have more friends that play on the console. That's just me. You may be different. But the truth of the matter is, guys, Starfield isn't going to be the only one. If you like Doom, Wolfenstein, Fallout, Elder Scrolls, all those games are going to be Xbox exclusive now. PC or Xbox console. So if you really like those games, it might be time to look into Game Pass. And as a gamer, I can tell you Game Pass is well worth it. Well worth it. $15 a month, $10 in some situations. You can't beat what they offer. I mean, you will find something to play. And there's a lot of great games on there. But that's besides the point. Just know that once it's exclusive, it's going to stay exclusive. So let's move on to the next subject I want to talk about. And that's being this Biomutant controversy. So if you haven't heard, Biomutant releases in a few days. And it's coming to the PS4 and Xbox One. But it'll also be playable on PS5 and Xbox Series X. The big controversy is, when you play it on Xbox Series X, it'll run in 4K native at 60 frames per second. Where the PS5 version only runs in 1080p, upscaled to 4K at 60 frames per second. Now, this may seem like a big deal, and it kind of is. I can understand why Sony fans are upset about this, but you can't blame THQ Nordic, the developer. This has to do with the PS5 hardware itself. So let's be real for a second here. When Mark Cerny last year had his little address to the press and stuff like that, he talked about backwards compatibility in the PS5 playing the top 100 games. Now, a lot of people thought he was just, misquoting or whatever. I think he was being legit. I think at that point in time, the PS5 backwards compatibility was an afterthought. Goes back generations with its backwards compatibility. I mean, we're talking Xbox original games, like Fusion Frenzy, for example. It's upgraded with HDR. HDR wasn't even available when that game was made. It's crazy how good it makes the old games look, the Xbox Series X does. It's really awesome, actually, because you can play old games and they look so much better. It's part of the hardware. It's part of the software. It's designed that way. Like I said, PS5 was an afterthought. They basically put a PS4 Pro into the PS5 and called it a day. So that's why the games don't upgrade right. That's why you see these games that run on the PS5 backwards compatible, they're just the same. Now, granted, if they take their time and they make a patch, a special patch, like say for Last of Us 2, now that runs 60 frames per second on the PS5, okay, well that was specifically done. But the hardware does not upgrade it. And that is not, like I said, that is not THQ's fault. That is Sony's fault. But THQ's getting a lot of heat for it, for no reason. I don't see why. I mean, you can hate all you want, but at the end of the day, this is going to be the common thing. And since a lot of games are not exclusive to the PS5 or the Xbox Series X right now, you're going to get a lot of Xbox One and PS4 games coming to these systems. Okay, but let's be real here. I've seen the comparison between the two. Is there really a difference? I mean, honestly, it's so slight. You would have to be Digital Foundry to see it. Unless you're pixel counting, you can't really tell the difference. People just like to get upset because they see the numbers, they hear 1080p upscaled to 4K, and then they hear 4K native, like, oh, it has to be this huge difference. In reality, it's not. I'll leave a link down below so you can see the comparison yourself. It's really not that big of a difference. But, you know, if you guys have anything else you want to discuss, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And if you like this video, hit that like button, please. If you don't like it, well, hit the don't like button. Either way, I appreciate any kind of feedback. Also, guys, make sure you subscribe. I love doing this kind of videos and stuff. Like I said, I know it's been a minute since my last one, but I'm going to try to keep focused and try to keep coming out to you all the time. But as always, guys, remember, play on, players.